Welcome back, everyone, to Lore of the Shadow, where today we are back here in the Mossword Blacksmith Shop, where we have returned from our little trip to Llangorod. Well then, Scardy, what do you got to say?
I did not think you would return to Mossward so quickly.
Yes, it just so happens that Geralt and Winna came by a short while ago, and they asked me to prepare some equipment to give you in the event that you returned. Seems that they wanted to give you a reward for looking after their boy. They arranged to pay for it, and who am I to argue? They have so far kept the lad from bothering me as often as he used to, which is nearly payment enough if you ask me. Nearly, I said. Peace of mind doesn't put food on the table, but luckily for you, coin does. So, you pick up whatever you like and no cost to you. And of course, most likely there'll be something fitting to your class like Benblade's staff, and that is a significant upgrade at all levels. Alright, I guess I'll take that.
So where does your road now lead? Old Cardolan, you say?
There's not a lot there in Old Cardolan, as I understand it. To hear Minodir talk, you'd think that it was a great kingdom. But that was long ago. Claimed by war and plague it was, apparently. And now is remembered mainly by rangers and by a few scholars. And by those with the misfortune to hear them go on about it. I'll not stop you, but if you're going that way, you'll need to cross the river at Tharbad. The bridge there is out, and the crossing will not be pleasant. Enjoy yourself, Pine Lore. I will stay here in my shop where it is warm and dry. Wonderful. Simply wonderful. Well, what do you say about this river crossing?
Skadi is right. If we are to reach Cardolan, we will need to cross the river Gwathlo at Tharbad.
When the Númenóreans built the city of Tharbad, its great bridge provided a valuable link to Gondor, and trade with the Southlands flourished. But in time the kingdom of Arnor diminished, and Tharbad was abandoned. The South Road became less traveled then in prosperous days. Masonry crumbled over the years, and parts of the city fell to the river. The great thaw that followed the fell winter released the floodwaters, and portions of the mighty bridge were lost for good. But folk crossed the river at Tharbad before the bridge was built, and it should remain possible even now that the bridge is gone. We will travel northwest to Tharbad and see for ourselves, Pine Lore. Let us meet in the shadow of the broken bridge on the southern bank. Alright, fine. I'll meet you at the southern bank of the river. So long! Ah, Tharbad, we have arrived. Now the question is, what's inside? Other than orcs. I think we established that earlier. And, we hope, one ranger friend who is going to help us somehow manage to get across the river. And we hope that the currents aren't so bad that we get pulled down all the way down to the bay, the ocean, or whatever is at the end of this river. I haven't found the ranger yet, but I have found this guy. Hello there.
Would you lend me a aid?
I'm a woodcutter, friend, not a fighter. When I encountered orcs within the flooded city, I ran. It is without shame that I tell you that I dropped my axe, though I need it for my livelihood. Do you think that you could repay the orcs for their insult and recover my axe at the same time? So I'm to kill orcs in Tharbad and to find your axe. Well, I suppose I could try to do that. A master of oak, not of orc. Well, I suppose that's an appropriate title for this case. There you go, that's our first orc. Now, let's see if we could find a few more of these. And I presume that at some point we will find the axe in question. Most likely we'll have a nice arrow pointing to it as soon as we destroy all of the orcs that are in the area. And of course we will also find we'll find more orcs. That's what we're going to find. But in addition to finding orcs, we'll also find plenty of scholar mats, it looks like, because I see these scholar X's all over the place. And these are journeyman level ones, broken urns. So that'll help me to get started on the next tier of crafting. Looks like I had to get my feet a little wet and walk into what I hope are the easier to wade parts of the river. Because I would presume that the elaborate bridge that he described in there would not have been necessary if this was a river that was readily wadable. Well, that's the axe. Good. So we've got axe. We've got... Where's that broken... Oh, broken urn? All I have to do is kill a few more orcs and report back. Here you are. One axe.
Can you spare a moment?
Ah, there's my axe. What would I have done with that? Hold on a moment. That's not my axe. This axe is completely different. What do you mean it's a different axe?
Would you lend me a aid?
Since this isn't my axe, that means its owner might still be somewhere in the city and in danger. You should return to where you found it and see if you can find the help the owner. It's the right thing to do. Alright, I'll return to where I found the axe. See if I can find the owner. Right. Well. Let's find someone else's axe. Or find this axe now that we did find someone else's axe. And maybe kill an orc or 3 in the process, right? See, even the orc agrees. It looks like another orc took an interest in the area. Maybe he's the one who is responsible for the axe being here? Now, let's see if we can... The earth is trampled to the southwest. Perhaps the owner went that way. Southwest. Alright. We can go that way. Somewhere around here? Blood stains the earth here, and tracks lead to the southwest. Alright, still going southwest. Eventually, we shall find it. And if we don't find it, if we don't find the owner, perhaps we will find some more scholarly materials. Well, not that way. Apparently, the scholarly materials and the unfortunate owner are right next to each other. What, did he get distracted and thought to try to do some reading? Well, let me check out the owner first to see if he's alright. It doesn't look like it. The owner of the axe ran afoul with the orcs at Tharbad. Well, I guess I'll go back to the woodcutter. Alas, he ran into the orcs.
Can you spare a moment?
You found the owner of the axe, but he was already slain by the orcs? Oh, that's a sad end, truly. I will tend to his axe in memory of the poor unfortunate Pylor, and from the day forth I will dedicate its work to making wooden weapons that will repay the orcs for the life that they took this day. I swear it! Thank you for doing what you could. You're welcome, and I suppose I will take the gloves. Thank you! And thanks for the level also. Now, what about that ranger? Ah, Here's the ranger now, and he's speaking to this woman over here. Hello there.
Hold, strangers. Be you friend or foe to Rohan?
I admit that I cannot tell you from your mane whether you are friend or foe. Are you a friend of Rohan and to its people? You assure the woman that you and Meneldir do not seek to cause any trouble for any of the good folk, and that you merely seek to cross the river on your way north. The woman thinks for a moment, and then nods. She turns her eyes upon Meneldir. Do you think that this question is too forward? But I must ask it. You are dressed as I was told of the Dunedain Ranger's dress, well suited for a life in the wilderness and the inhospitable north. Are you one of this kind? For they are the folk that I seek, and my errand is urgent. Ooh. Well, that's going to be an awkward question.
Your question is not an easy one for me to answer.
Let us say that I was once of the Dunedain, but if need drives you to seek the Dunedain, your search is not at an end. Yet your purposes may align, for Pinelore and I also seek the Rangers of the North. Each of our paths requires that we ford the Guathlo, the river Glare flood, and it will not be easy. I fear that the raging waters will be too much in places for your steed to safely make this crossing. It appears that orcs watch the shallows. I only know of the Rohirrim from the tales, but I do know that they are loath to part with our horses unless at great need. If such is the need that drives you, I would know that your name, and perhaps you will tell us of your errand at the bank. If not, I would bid you farewell, for Pinelore and I can no longer delay. Well, she dismounted. I suppose that means that she plans on crossing.
Farewell, my Starkmood. May you find your way back to the yellow fields of the Mark.
I will see you again when my task is done. The woman turns back to you, a cold look in her eyes. The fate of Rohan rests upon my quest, or I would not leave one so loyal as my Starkmaud. So swear Igfirth and Fatharn, who has ridden here with all haste to acquire the help a Theoden king requires. Now, let us ford the river, and at once. All right. Let us ford the river. Oh, as soon as I look at the levy plaque, the ravagings of Cardolan. So we're starting to get Cardolan deeds here. So I'm not going to consider ourselves to be properly in Cardolan until we cross the Grey Flood over here. Even though I am already getting I thought, oh, that's why I'm in combat. This fire starter here. Really? Okay, now. Oh, another one. All right, fine. Fine. Oh, I'm halfway across and my muscles ache, but the harsh cries of the orcs from nearby strengthen my resolve to get across the river, and I'm thankful that polar bears are very good swimmers. I emerge dripping from the river, glad to be across at last. What do you say? That was not pleasant, Pinelore, but at least we have reached the northern bank. It would have been much easier were the great bridge intact. I will need a rest for a short time before we proceed. How fares Aefirth? I guess we'll have to find out how she fares. Ah, she has arrived. I hope Starkmold understands. He would have followed me anywhere I would lead him, even to his death. He is the same as I am, for I would do anything for Rohan. Aethir breathes deeply and rubs the feeling back into the muscles of her arms. On the other side of that cruel river, you asked why I seek the Dunedain Rangers. The Odin King has fallen ill, seized by a weakness of the body from which it is feared that he may not recover. I was told that the Rangers of the North know methods of healing that might cure a king's ailment. I am to recover one of their remedies, or to return to Edoras with one of their healers, that he might heal the king. It is only future of Rohan that I would abandon Starkmaud. Any who question that will face my sword. Ooh, she is determined, that's for sure. Yeah, right. Oh, we get to choose. I guess the silver chain of... Oh yeah, that's quite an upgrade. I can hear orcs prowling amongst the ruins of the city, and if we do not post a watch, they may surprise us while we rest from the crossing. They have become an ever-growing threat in my own land, and the king has not the strength to oppose them, and thus Rohan suffers. I will help your friend and make sure that the campsite remains unoccupied by those who made it, if you would hunt the orcs that prowl in the city. We would stay here only long enough to dry our clothes and recover from the crossing, and the fewer orcs between us and the northern road, the better. Right. Okay, so I need to defeat orcs in the ruins of Tharbad. Ah, something creeps in Tharbad. And I presume what creeps here are orcs? Ah, there's an orc up there. I guess we could start with that one. So, let's go. Defeat orcs. Collect scholarly materials. And all will be fine. Well, fine for me, not fine for the orcs. Ooh, 2 of them. Hey! Oh, for a moment there I thought he was going to go around through a long circuitous route or something. I was like, what are you doing? There you go. Oh, look at that. Something to study after killing the orcs. I have thinned out the orc population in the area.
How fared you against the orcs?
Did the orcs that you fought bear the insignia that we encountered with the Uruks and Swanfleet? No, they did not have the white hand, and to my eye they belong to other orc tribes. Alright. Well, what do you say about this Aethir? Aethir? What do you know of that symbol, this white hand? Orcs bearing this mark have appeared in Rohan of late, and many are the towns and crofts that have been troubled throughout the Riddermark. The king's illness prevents him from properly dealing with these raiders, and every day the kingdom grows more weak, more frail. But who commands this tribe against my people? Grenadier gives you a warning look, and you tell Hereford that the Uruks of the White Hand must serve some powerful chieftain, or of their own kind. She rests her hand against the pommel of her sword. So we don't tell her that they're ruled by Saruman. Yes, that does seem to be the way of that kind. Still, the orcs here in Tharbad need not serve beneath the White Hand to endanger my own errand or yours. There are other fires to the west, on the other side of the broken bridge from here, and if you clear your way their defenders, we will rest more easily and be better prepared to travel safely through the city. Well, there is, so scout the campfires to the west of the broken bridge of Tharbad. But when we do that, I think we are going to be entering into a new phase of our story. So I think that we will stop out here, and when the new year comes, we will head over to those fires and see what's there when we return to Lore of the Shadow.